Hey there, friends. This is Emily Windsor Craig, and I'm having problems with my voice today, more so all the time. And I don't know if you realize this, but the symptoms of the virus, the epidemic, are the same as the symptoms of radiation exposure to 5G. All right. So, anyway, I'm having a little trouble talking today. But we're looking down the long road. And we who follow conservative principles and methods are in combat against disinfo and misinfo. You just got to keep slugging it out hour by hour and day by day. Not worry too much about what people think about what you're doing. Doesn't work to think about it too much. We have been sitting through some of the most preposterous statements by people, exclamations, and excuses. We can't say a word to those around us for fear of freaking people out, whether they're neighbors or friends or family. And this is the nature of resistance to the illogical and invalid results and conclusions that we're confronting. There's no let up. Joe Biden is not president-elect. The counting isn't over. And his negotiating with world leaders violates the Logan Act, which forbids such premature meetings. The election is going to take a couple months to decide, so get over your desire to hurry it up. Al Gore took until December to concede in 2000. And the problem began by the establishment of confidentiality, secrecy, need to know, compartmentalization, and all of that, instead of government transparency since about the 1980s, since the Iran-Contra events. And that is what has placed us where we are, trying to dig out the hidden corporate criminality that goes on behind the scenes. Wow. And that's why it's no surprise we're treading a path to civil war that nobody wants. Globalists speak as if vulture capitalism and big tech domination over information are the end all and be all of human and natural life. Well, this is bull feathers. The truth is, every living soul has a right to learn and practice relationships, not merely be subject to slavery and rule baiting. No, the only peace that Biden is calling for is a totalitarian peace imposed from above, except where war profiteering is expedient. Why? Because law has become unreliable as a standard for human behavior when consensus leaders have been thwarted. The new practice of getting chipped means that humans are living as tagged paddock animals. In the New World Order, if you're not autonomous and self-sufficient, you have to learn how to confess and grovel to get your material needs met. If you've kept up with John Levi and Martin Liedtke, you know that periods of anarchy in the past 400 years have been rather common. And these periods, despite what history says, supported predation and violence when the rule of law was in a slack condition. History gives religion free rein, but religions are not free to teach criminal behavior like taqiyya, jizya, and jihad, or treachery, protection rackets, and sedition, let alone punish free speech as a blasphemy. So we've got to stay real here. When religions are teaching criminal behavior and claiming that God's a criminal, somebody has to stand up and say, no, no, no. Appearances deceive. The neocons, rhinos, and masons work for the occult side of chaos. They self-consciously play both ends against the middle. Not to mention the weaponized agencies, CIA, State Department, and DARPA Pegasus, that pull strings. So much of what the government is supposed to be doing is handled by corporations having no civil accountability statutes. The swamp conducted this rigged election. Why aren't the media talking about the method of mass vote reset? They're the swamp too. False, counterfeit ballots were printed and mailed in by non-registered persons, some of them children, according to reports by Fulford, Florida, Mackey, and others. I forget Steve's last. Steve Pachenik was the third. The ballots were faked, printed, and photocopied. And so we have our perceptions around corruption. Everyone else is corrupt, not us. Fill in your identity group. So Biden, excuse me, I'm having a problem with my voice again. Biden is 10 times more corrupt than Obama, who was 10 times more corrupt than Bush, who was 10 times more corrupt than Clinton. It's about perceptions and not reality, and the perceptions rule, always. Why are the media still only telling a part of the story? Are we too stupid to be told the truth? Of course the swamp doesn't want to drain themselves, okay? Use of counterfeit ballots by millions of unregistered false voters cannot be allowed by the judiciary. No how. It appears to me that DOJ and FBI don't know how to proceed on evidence of election rigging. These agencies appear to be weaponized against seeking justice. They've done damn little for the last 4 years. The president is always surrounded by a coterie of lawyers who affirm his position, and he hands out cases he lets them deal with, okay? This is why businessmen can make poor national leaders when they don't see the need to intervene personally when it's really needed. They leave emergencies up to the attorneys, and that's a bad move. The more problems and issues that lack solutions, the more money lawyers make in adversarial courts. This is why politicians don't solve problems, they create them. So their lawyer friends will continue to support their election campaigns. Lawyers make more money the more social problems are allowed to fester. It's simple as that. Confound the law, wrap commercial law around common law, and charge fines in divorce cases and social services instead of setting matters straight. You know what I mean? No wonder our children are furious and protesting. And why aren't the consolidated 6 corporate media and social media charged with violating the Smith Act? The Smith Act, written in the 40s, charges those who advocate the overthrow of the US government with a crime, and a coup is a crime. We are looking at a progressive coup over the last 4 years. Self-seeking cronies endangering the lives and interests of national security have no place in public policy. Biden is accused of bribery and treason in matters concerning China and Ukraine. He never should have been allowed to run as a candidate for any office, not even dog catcher in the first place. Why was it allowed? The president, instead of going after corruption personally, let appointees keep secrets and let underlings play at draining the swamp. Gitmo has never fully been engaged for 3 damn years due to Sessions and Barr's timidity. So now nobody is going after the Ukraine and China corruption that Biden lives by. If Trump finally loses, it'll be because he didn't take the side of the innocents that have suffered so long, Assange and Snowden and the other whistleblowers who gave their all and have been relentlessly punished. The Bible book of Revelation's Armageddon appears to be periodic until Satanism finally itself is dealt with by the high heavens. We appear to be due for a reset because corruption has taken over. People are conditioned to believe that the numbers or sources of votes have no value or moment. Calls for false unity and harmony will continue, and conservatives will continue to bleat and pray until God renders this nation's karma. And I think karma is coming in pretty bad. It's going to be pretty bad. A harvest of souls is what usually occurs in an Armageddon. And some souls go off world, and some are harvested, and some are cherry picked. That's what I get from my off-world sources. The swamp, like every corrupted regime before it, will be crushed and emptied of its Illuminati forebearers, but by ETs, not by us. And the Illuminati who came to us in the 14th century from the domain will be forever removed from this world that they have toyed with and reduced to humiliation. And in the consequence of a reset, according to the people who read the old maps and the old daguerreotypes and the old etchings, what has happened time and time again during a reset is that the land masses are altered. Nations rise and fall, and civil society must reorganize. This is what happens when cosmic authority shows up in the past and resets a society. And it appears to me that it is now our turn to go through that experience, unless we can get this corrupted election and corrupted leftist Bolshevik revolution back into civil boundaries. I don't know. We'll have to see. This has been Emily Windsor Craig, and I wish the best for all of you. God bless you. Bye-bye.